this effect, I take the teaching to a new level in a very simple way. And the knowledge seekers who understand will take it to its ultimate goal in due days. You have to understand the biggest problem with this planet has been the lack that it has dependent man on eating others to gain energy. In fact, the soul of the man was not brought up to the level to be independent on its own, that does not need the leech of the physicality. To that effect, some weeks ago, I released the base for all souls to be leveled out that does not need the extension to dependence on the food on this planet. What I explain in a very simple way is such. Go back to all my teachings. You're the last man standing, and this is the last man standing. Cannot be any more truer than this. It's you, if you get the corona in the hospital, maybe they can take you through the first one, but it's full, you gotta go home. And what you do at home is the last man standing. But there is one other point with all those who last man standing, or a spaceship is floating, and no one knows which man will stand. The spaceship of Earth, at the speeds beyond your imagination, is traveling across this galaxy, a solar system, and rotation around itself. But no one knows in which house, in which room, which soul is allowing its physicality to suffer due to not understanding, and in the coming days, lack of energy as food. There was a need to bring those who understand the knowledge to a level of understanding of leveling of the souls. That means you do not need to kill. And this will put what I call the knowledge seekers a step ahead of the planned mass murder of people by those who plan to create control reduction in population. And in turn, in one move, not only we have changed the whole structure of leadership, the government, the financial position, and food dependency, but we bring a new dimension to man. As usual, I walked you through it. And as Corona pushed, we talked you through it. And now I'll explain to you in a very simple way. Do you want to eat another flesh? Or do you want to feed the soul of the man that feeds the physicality? And according to that, will adjust itself to every virus, as the soul of the man's virus is very rare, and the soul of the physicality needs to be supported. Fortunately, many of you discussed, bought, sold, cajoled with everything. I taught you two simple things, but you missed, as usual, what I gave you. I taught you how to put a nanocord wire. This is a cup 2, and this is a cup 1. In a cup one, I told you to put the zinc plate. And a copper plate. And in the cup two, I told you to put 2 copper plates. You were told to connect in a specific way your connections. And you were told in a specific way to make connections. Now, this, as I told you, is the soul of the man. And this is the soul of physicality of the man. Then, for those who understood the knowledge, the 2 souls have to work within the dimension of the physicality. Then, once you're filled up with the water of the life, which is 90% of the body of the man, with the salt which you added to keep the salinity, with the level of the salinity of the man, another 15%, but at the appropriate level that you understand how much to be. The connection is simple. You connect the souls and you connect the physicalities. And then with one strike, you connect the 2 together. This is the body of the man. In so many ways, we gave you the freedom that the soul of the man will interact with the soul of physicality of the man. And the soul of the man stays within the embodiment of the operation. That in total, in connection with the 2, will protect the man from all to come. This is the reason why we showed you the twin cups. Now you understand the reason. We showed you the cup of physicality to protect you from the viruses which touches the physical part of the muscle tissue of the man. And in the original one, we gave you the cup of the soul of the man. And now you understand exactly where you sit. If mankind become kind to himself that understand this, you don't need to be fed. Would it be the opportunity for man to reside amongst the 2? That in the process, his soul elevation will become the salvation for his physicality. Then you understand. No one can ever dictate, depending on the ratio of drinking and consumption in the right order between 1 and 2, you can feed the soul, that it can feed the physicality, while the physicality feeds itself, controls itself. If you understand this process, it means there are no free calciums within the structure of feeding, that the virus can ever attach itself to the weakest point in the structure of the physicality of the man. You need to feed the two souls, that in balanced operation, they can look after physicality without killing, without consumption. And this is how you'll survive in space. The way you will establish this is very simple. You can put as much as you like tools, and you can put as much as you like once. If you understand the zinc is higher than the copper, in trying to reach, it creates a field that the nervous system and the physicality of the man will be fed from the fields of the universe. Man, soul will elevate this way, that the animosity of the war and killing will go out of the human circulations of thought and behavior. It's your responsibility then to do the same in the dimensions of the creatures of God, be it vertical or horizontal. It's the responsibility of this, what we call Universal Council members and Earth Council members, and especially the head of the Keshe Foundation, according to her new status as she knows, to make sure this planet stays within the structure of safe operation and life, that no one needs to kill. And the balance in the numbers will come out of the natural need of the environment and not by killing by decision of some maniacs. Accommodation of the souls for confirmation of their existence. The technological development involving the knowledge of the man will go into a fast speed operation within coming weeks. In so many ways, if as knowledge seekers you chose to be here, and your numbers according to the international traffics runs about 200 to 250 million, and as is only 7 billion of you, it is very, very easy. Even if 100 million of you teach, you need to teach 70 people within the next 7 days, 17 days, or 27 days as you choose, that no one shall kill. This is the cup of man. And this cup, this structure as a whole, is and will become extended by the knowledge of the knowledge seekers and humanity to the level that man will feed itself across the universe. You will not carry cups of life. You will carry systems which has been fully tested in China, that it will create the condition of the fields that will feed the soul of the man. As I said, we will not take food into space, because in reality, we only need to supply energy directly into the soul of the man. And in the soul of the smallest part of the man is the smallest toe. The law that you have to follow in a space as you become part of the universal community is to feed the center, and in feeding the center with energy, you dictate the extremities. And then the whole system will dictate its shape. If you look, this is the shape of the operation of an atom. So you don't do anything any different. Now you understand why we go into the structure of the matter and the creation of the universe. The structure of matter is the structure of the soul of the man, and the structure of the universe is the dimension of its physicality, how it manifests itself. Now you see a new dimension into the 3 books you have read. This is the book number 1, and this is book number 2 and 3, where here you are sitting in book number 2. Or if you understand it the other way, this is your book number 1, and this is your book number 3, and this is book number 2. Those who go this way understand the world of physicality. Those who go this way understand the process of work of the soul. I told you I'll change the course of humanity today. And for those who understood, I have elevated your soul and I have fed your physicality. Thou shalt not kill. The knowledge is simple. The field you create in this environment, every cell says what it needs, and the universe shall supply. Because this is one end, and the other end will be found in the universe. The same as this, 2 cups. We had to increase the salinity in the waters as you were independent. Now you have to understand the best production of the fields and not the materials, because what you'll be interested in reality is this, and not what you gather as waters in each and the Ganges. You become the one in the middle, where the soul has the energy and the physicality has the need. In the combination of the operation of the two, you go to subatomic materials the man has no clue about, to materials which is needed in the space dimension of operation beyond the imagination of the man today. Part of these operate within your soul and your physicality, but you've never been aware of. Man can only confirm, exist, according to what his knowledge extends to understand. If man did not know the plutonium or uranium through his education and development and understanding of the atomic structure and materials, man would have never found it in his body. You got to realize that every element on every planet has to exist and become part of the structure of his natural life, be it living or being part of operation of his gravitational and magnetic field as gravity or inertia. Therefore, you'll understand that there is life on every corner of this universe, irrespective of visibility, feeling, touch, observation of existence of the field floor. There are no spaces in the span of the universe that the life does not exist. It's the responsibility of the man to make sure does not trample on them. None of it. Trampling on them unknowingly is not excuse to do so, but it means you have to become aware and, in a way, think before you move, before you take another step. What am I stepping onto? In so many ways, I have shown you the path. I brought the soul of the man to balance for what this planet could not bring to balance for millions of years. It means all of you start with the same platform. It means that your souls has become equal and no different than the other in strength and in the process of understanding the truth. With establishing of the cup number 1, as you call it, I gave you the platform to become independent through the work of your own from the physical dimensions of this planet. And in that process, with the cup 2, I supported the soul of your physicality. And in so many ways, I have freed man from the shackles of this planet. And what was wrong in the essential construction of his work within the inner sanctums of his operation. Now the choice is yours. Do we stand and change the course of humanity in a peaceful manner? Or do we allow these wolves to carry out their acts? But in so many ways, we had to come to this point that all the structure of the past will break up, that the new cycle of life starts on this planet. In the coming days, every nation on this planet, every man and a woman will start making the cup of man. And in that process, will take a huge pressure off the shoulders of this planet. We don't need to harvest, and we don't need to die of hunger. We don't need to suffer from diseases uncurable, and cancer will be in the history books of the man's life. In so many ways, as we said, the enhancement units become the system for the universe, and in that process, we teach you more. Don't forget one thing. I am the Messiah. Not only for my soul, but this time for humanity and the human race. I free you from the shame and the shackles of what you brought to yourselves. And you brought the humanity to the stage of today. All your latest technologies are grounded, and the most advanced technologies worth nothing as the nations cannot support. What was written in the Old Testament was about not that time, but about today, what is happening to humanity. That man will come to a new beginning. But you have to understand one point, and that is a condition that you'll receive the gift of life from the cup of man. And that is, man will never engage himself in killing another. If your soul does not commit, you'll find out the cup does not work. Because within hidden structure of it, this is the World Peace Treaty signed by the soul of the man in accepting. Those of you who will make the cup and see no results, it means your soul has questions to ask yourself. And in so many ways, those who make the cups and see no results, what or does that mean that the soul has been always clear? That does not need the matter to confirm its freedom. Don't look for the gas at the bottom. Look at the energy fields within the soul of the system. This is what I've been telling you for weeks and weeks. You look for the matter states and I look for the fields. We still will go to the banks and we still run the factories and still make the furniture. We still might get paid, but we still, as we are happy, we do it because it gives us a new dimension of pleasure. In the next 12 months, man will enter a rapid development of the space technology to open the space into mankind in a deep space travel. In the next 12 months, will change the course of humanity. And there is no more funds to run the war companies developing weapon and defense will employ the same scientists to develop new space technologies that bring comfort to man to enjoy the span of universe for those who decide the physical path. Don't forget, the lifespan on this planet as of today has become limitless. If you understood the work of the cup of man. Try to understand the knowledge of the cup and try not to copy the cup of man. Then you don't need the cup to survive in the span of the universe, as I cannot get you water in every corner of the universe. The souls who elevate to the level of understanding of the true knowledge will need no space. That gift has been granted to one and then to the second in past few days. Those souls are sacrosanct and stay clear of all. It's our privilege to give such a gift, and we have given for those who serve the foundation, to serve humanity. In time, you will know the two, as the two already been told about their position. As I said, when we established the Universal Council, the members of the Council should be known by the brightness of their souls and not by their emails or their titles. In brightness, it means giving. And in so many ways, the brighter the sun, the bigger giver, the lover. When I tell you I love you, means I give you everything I have. And let's see how many of you will love the humanity. And then the bigger test will come when you love the universal community. Try to understand a simple way. Gradually try to replace the energies of the cup of man in consumption of food and killing. Gradually try to bring balance between yourself and your environment, does not matter wherever you live. And if the members of Universal Council, except two who have to leave as the soul does not carry the conduct of what the council is set for, this planet will shine in a different way in the universal community. In a way, if humanity works in the direction we set, the earth will become a shining star, even bigger than the sun itself. Understand a simple language, and that language is understand the language of the soul, not the voice, the vision, and the others which the man has occupied itself in the past time. Love to the soul. Make children amongst the soul of the man, that they can last the span of universe, as the physicality of the man is vulnerable to every changes in every corner, as we have seen with the corona. Corona means the crown, and this was the crown virus man had to deal with to find the crown of his own freedom. We did not bring it. We knew those souls in the background been waiting to do it, to create a condition of more war and more animosity, and we had to drain them from every finances. Don't forget, I'm the master. I tested it and it worked. In the condition of Northern Ireland with the British government, we drained the assets of IRA and the loyalists from the fuel they carried to everything else that they could get their hands on. When there was no financial strength, we got what we wanted, and we managed to establish a 300-year war into peace in the Northern Ireland territory of the United Kingdom. In my passing, documents will be released to show the effectiveness that we've been involved in Northern Ireland peace. The same system has been set up to deplete the assets of Illuminatis, which is the elite, richest, politically influential families and people on this planet, without them knowing, in the past months. The damage done to Rothschild family is beyond their imagination. All the asset investments in China was sold for pennies, and in so many ways they thought they might control China, but they lost it. Same time, the families who control the grain will find out man does not need to eat, and the grains will rot in the doldrums of their warehouses. We learned one thing from the First World War. This time, we shall not let it happen. Those of you who do not know, I explained in a very close way to the Iranian community in the last teaching. Go and search the books, and you understand one thing. During the Second World War, not much happened to Iran in so many ways. But in the First World War and aftermath, Iran lost nearly a third to a half of its population through the hand of the British government. They wanted the oil-rich states of the South. They brought plagues and they burned the fields that over 15 million Iranians died of hunger. 100 years ago. And the plan this time was the same by those who control the grain. And this is the reason we release the cup. Man does not need no grain. This time, those of you who use the line of food to control, now you bleed to death of your own physicality in the harm and the pain you have brought to humanity. Those dying in Italy are your responsibility as much as Gates. Those dying in France, China, Iran, and the rest of the world with this planned disease to bring control, the same as 9/11, has backfired on you to bring the end on you. We watched and we took our time. We let you burn yourself, then you have no one to blame. If we do it, we become the Sapar and the enemies. When you do it, it's your own stupidity and greed. I told you, today's teaching will be a turning point. And that turning point has come. And I promise, when it comes to feeding the man, we'll set up the order to be done. Now you have. In so many ways, many of you who know and you learn how to use this cup and the combination of it in the right order, in so many ways, you see those men who can go in the freezing waters of the Siberian lakes and swim with no problem as they're warm. And you see those who live in the heat of the deserts like nomads for centuries. The heat, the temperature will be not your concern. Understand the science of the work of your soul and understand the fields which it creates to keep your physicality warm at the temperature which is your pleasure. Do you need heating? Do you need to burn and destroy so much to warm the furniture and the ceiling and the wall of your home? Or is this good enough for you that you stay nice and cozy within your structure of physicality when you understand the position of your soul and the operation of your physicality in dimension of soul of physicality? Your energy crisis is solved. You don't need to cook. You don't need to eat. And if you understand the dimension of the totality of what you call the essence of the dimension of vision of the soul, do you need the light on the streets? With this cup of man, I have elevated the soul of the man. Now play with it and enjoy the new freedom. But learn, many of you will lose your light as some of the habits of the man will come in the dimension of physicality to play the game with the dimension of the soul of the man. And that's the time that you lose. You will definitely lose the dimension of physicality and the soul. Then you become that food from the position of the virus to the gans that becomes food to the others. You are a free energy. Don't think you do everything right and it's your right to do, because now, as we free the knowledge, it's your responsibility to be correct with yourself. I am a lover, but my love for human race has extended to the point that the physical dimension of it has more pleasure than the soul of the man's dimension of loving it. Now I raise the dimension of your physicality to the point that only you will decide the point of its demise. Lie to me, I take it. Cheat, I take it. Steal, I take it. Only one path is left. You give and you live through the right conduct. I as the universe and you as a man. This was the only way we could bring this mayhem of destruction and killing on this planet after thousands and thousands of years. To bring the man educated to understand and destroy the structure he built all these in the past, to brought the man to this point. From now on, this planet will become a peaceful planet. From now on, there shall be no animosity and war. From now on, the promised heaven will be on this planet as we promised, as the man will create to please the other souls, to accommodate the other souls to be in a better position than themselves, and this will bring the position of a comfort and pleasure to live. In so many ways, if you listen to one of the recordings, I said, the day of judgment will come, not by time, but by the maturity of understanding. And that maturity of understanding and the time has come today. Now you all play the same level field. Now you all play from the same strength of the soul. You cannot blame your forefathers, no Christ, no Muhammad, no Moses, no nobody else. Because now you all are of the same, with a clean slate, with a clean sheet for your souls. Any questions?
Good morning, Mr. Keshe.
Yes.
Mr. Keshe, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You know the diagram you draw on the top about book number 1 and a black dot and a red dot. Do you mind if you make it bigger and explain it one more time, please?
No. Listen to it. And then you draw it and see what you understand.
And the second question I have with the 2 cups.
This is the second no you got from me in 24 hours. Huh? Never done that to a woman.
Second what?
No.
Oh, okay. Can I ask my second question?
Yeah.
The two cups you created, when you talk about some people would not feel it because the soul is not committed. The second one was the soul is already free. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And
You
also,
decide on its freedom.
okay, and then another thing is, in one of the teaching I was listening to, you said some people didn't listen to you and they made the place straight, not a spiral. But in this case, you only made the nanocode a spiral. The rest of them has to be a straight. Am I correct?
You decide.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
You're welcome. You see, the reason I did it this way is very simple. I stayed awake all night last night, how to teach, when I consulted with a free soul, which I have gifted to one. If you decide to make it a spiral, or if you decide to make it a spiral, if you decide to make this flat, or you decide to make this spiral and this flat, or if you change the position to make this a spiral and keep this the same spiral and keep this flat. What do you think the condition will be?
Mr. Keshe, if you make it a spiral in the physical cup, what's going to happen? You're going to be more bound to the physicality.
You're so 100% wrong.
So can you explain, please?
You think. Why you're wrong?
Because when you make it a
You
spiral,
are matured enough, you don't need me to answer you.
because when you make it a spiral, you create all the spectrum that exists.
Which the soul of the man needs to exist in the realm of the universe. You just look at the earth. If you make this a spiral and take away this, man become the soul of the universe, as there is no physicality, no inertia. Don't test this, you'll pay heavy for it. Never test this. And those who test will see the result of it in a very horrible way if your soul is not ready for it. Do not test this as long as you're the citizens of this planet. And do not test this as the point that you are not committed to be citizens of anywhere in the universe. This gift has been given to two women in Keshe Foundation. They can exist in both dimensions, both in this and the same with that. never try ever to commit yourself to this. Always stay within the law of the universe in the dimension of physicality. This is your scope, and this is your earth level. You have to keep it confined within the atmosphere of the planetary system you exist. This is a spiral, is the gift to only 2 people on this planet, as they have to understand more dimensions.
Mr. Keshe.
Yeah.
Mr. Keshe, when you talk about when we make the 2 cup, we should not make it the 2 last one a spiral, because if you're not ready.
No, I didn't say anything. You make it yourself. You
said don't do it, because if your soul is not ready.
That's your decision, not mine.
Okay, so I want no, that's not my question. My thing is this, because when you talk
I'm not going to answer, and I'll tell the team, all of you, never answer anybody who asks you about a question about spiral, flat, or whatever, or whenever. From now on, depends on you.